Guys, my name is Nairi and I'm running an adoption support type channel, and today I'm going to reflect on some of the questions that you may be asked at panel. I just want to say that everybody's experience would be different, as I'm sure you understand, but I'm sure there's a lot of anxiety around the types of questions that you might have at panel. So I've been to a few panels as a foster carer and an adopter, and I'm hoping to share with you the types of things that you might expect to be asked. If you think that an adoption support type channel could be useful to you, then please take the time to subscribe. So when you go into an adoption panel, whether it is going to be for the matching or the approval, there are always representatives around the table from different areas. So you'll probably have a representative adopter, potentially maybe a foster carer in there, maybe a social worker. You'll have the chair of the meeting, you'll have a health representative, an education representative, and they've all got their specialities and they've all got their strengths and weaknesses. They were all given a question for us before we came in, and this, I believe, was both for the approval and the matching panel, and what we experienced when we saw other adopters who were coming in and we were the foster carers on the other side of the fence. So what you might be asked, how you're going to advocate for the children through their health. If you know a particular child, if it's a matching panel, has a particular health issue, how you're going to cope with that. So say they have a disability, you may be asked about how you're going to advocate for them in their education if children you're going for are further behind. Most likely be asked by the chair some things about your assessment, and there might be things in there about either your history, your work life, your finances. Some of those things might be raised, but they would already have been raised. There are no surprises at panel, I don't think. You might get a question which is different from what's come up in the assessment, but it wouldn't be something that you haven't explored, because this is almost like a ratification process. It's not really a, oh, shall we decide if they're good enough or not? It is about looking at what's in the assessment, bringing out the key points in your assessment, and the key points about, if it's a matching panel, the children that you're going for in relation to yourselves, and going through it again in a way. You will find that sometimes people will fire a question at you that's worded in such a way that you think, I don't really understand what they mean. They may say to you, you might have changed the arrangement, and the question comes at you and you think, that doesn't really make any sense. If that happens, then you would stop the situation and you would ask the social worker to come in and support you with your answer. I can remember that we were asked, how would we feel if the children did not make good progress throughout their education, being that our children were really bright and had made good progress? It wasn't an odd question, but I felt that was a put you on the spot type question. It wasn't one that I was expecting to come up. We knew that the boys had significant delays and issues right when we fostered them, and we'd had them for years. So it wasn't really a question that I thought we would be asked about how we would feel about it if they didn't make good progress at school, because it was almost a given that they wouldn't. I know that sounds sad, but we weren't going to sit on the fact that we'd fostered these boys for 5 years and then not decide to adopt them because they might not make good progress at school. That just wasn't going to happen. I was also surprised that they brought up my history, because my history is very abusive. He actually said near the beginning of the meeting, I think you should be very proud of yourself for making it through and doing as well as you've done with the history you have. And that made me feel really emotional. So I wasn't expecting that. So sometimes they'll hit on something that does get you a little bit, and sometimes they'll come with a question that you don't really know what the relevance is. Why are they asking that? And I felt that sometimes in the panels that I've been in, some questions are asked for the sake of it. They're asked because they need to be asked and not because they make sense at the time. But I think it's really important that you're honest. You answer things to the best of your ability. If you have a partner or family member there that can help you out, then great. Or you go back to the social worker if you're really not sure. I think you need to stand up for yourself. There's no way of fully knowing everything that's going to be asked you. I just think go through your own assessment and have a look at what, if you were somebody on the panel, what would you ask the adopter? So if it was the other way around, what would you ask for the approval panel, what would you ask that person if you were them asking you? And you'll probably be as close to it as what you can get for the experience. And guys, good luck if you're going to panel soon.